Okay, hi there, Paul Clutterbuck from First Fitness. I'm going to go over one of the issues that we come across quite a lot, that a lot of people are not realising that they're doing it. It's called underreporting. So I've found a video on YouTube which I've used quite a lot in our training groups here at First Fitness, which is very good at demonstrating the difference between what underreporting actually is. So I'll show you the video. So that's the video there. Essentially that lady there, I think her name's Deborah, she just believes that she's got a slow metabolism. She says that she's tried all the diets that are out there and none of them actually worked for her. And that was a statement that she makes within the video, that she has tried all the diets under the sun and she just concluded that she has a slow metabolism, which she just has to accept that she's going to be overweight for the rest of her life. She then goes and has a metabolic test. So basically 12 hours after eating, they put this hood on her in a lab. And then she sits down with the person there, the technician that's doing the test. She just comes along and says your metabolism's normal. She's a little bit upset that the excuse of having a slow metabolism has just been taken away. So they went on to step 2 of this little documentary. So they had her do a written test and a video, do a written diary and a video diary of the food that she's eaten. You can also see in that picture there that they gave her doubly labelled water. Now, doubly labelled water is probably classed as the gold standard of measuring calories being burnt as well as calories being eaten. So you drink this water that's got isotopes in it, you pee it out, and then from the urine they will be able to see pretty much exactly how many calories you're burning and how many calories you're eating per day. So they went through and then they compared her written diary. So her diary, on average per day, she was eating about 1,100 calories from what she thought she was doing by writing things down and keeping a fairly close eye on the food that she's taking in. Then they compared that to the doubly labelled water that she was drinking. And this is where underreporting really shows how it can really hinder weight loss efforts. So she was actually eating 3,000 calories a day. So from her thinking that she's on plan on her diet at eating 1,100 calories, when they had a proper look at her intake, and they didn't talk about it in the documentary that I got, but obviously they had a look at how many calories she was burning. I think she overestimated how much exercise that she was doing, so she was actually burning a lot less calories per day than she thought she was doing during exercise and things like that. But we're just going to concentrate on the eating side of things here. So you can see there that she forgot to record 43% of the calories that she was eating. So that's what underreporting is. Underreporting is where you are reporting your expected calorie intake, but in actual fact you are eating a lot more than you think. So this is a very good example. I mean, if I had the money, I would get all the clients here using doubly labelled water, just to show that what they actually think they're eating is different to what they are eating. Now, they've done lots of studies with this, and about 40% is pretty much the average underreporting number for general population. It's a little bit better, but there's still quite a lot of underreporting when you have people who you should think would know better. So they've done something very similar to this with dietitians, nutritionists, PTs, people all over the different areas within the fitness industry, and the majority of them still underreport. That granted, that underreporting percentage is a lot lower. On some instances, it's pretty big for the individual and the profession that they're in, but it's still a little bit lower. But again, it still happens with everybody underreporting. So the best thing I would say from this would be really scrutinize what you're eating and drinking as well, because obviously you've got liquid calories from sugar drinks, alcohol, and all the other drinks. I mean, if you're having coffees and teas and you're adding sugar to that or milks to that, if you're having 5-6 cups of tea, coffee a day, you might think it's healthy, but it still contains calories. So if you really want to get a good understanding of what you're eating, I would say probably spend 3, 5, 7 days writing down everything that you're eating to the amounts. And you might actually be surprised in this exercise, you might actually be surprised how much you are actually eating compared to how much you think you're eating. Even those small little, when you're cooking, the small little bites that you have. So there's another program which, to be honest, I didn't like the presenter. A lot of these TV programs I don't watch because they always seem to have a biased angle on those shows. But there's another good show. I didn't like the presenter so much because she spoke crap a lot of the time. But the show itself was really good in showing how people, you could say, unconsciously take snacks. So what they did on that show, Secret Eaters, I think it was called. So what they did was they would rig a house through with cameras, and they'll have spies, so to say, to keep an eye on these people and what they're eating. And then they would keep a log themselves of what they're eating, when they're eating it, and then they would show them how much they think they're eating compared to how much they were actually eating. And there would, again, similar in here, there was a big difference between the two, between what was actually being eaten and what they thought they were eating. Even watching some of the video clips back of themselves, they didn't actually realise that they were taking little sips of food when they were cooking or taking food from their children. So there's say for example, a child has had dinner, left some bits and pieces, and the parents will come along and just finish that off. They won't actually take that into account for their daily calories. They will, in some instances, like I said, unconsciously eat. So with underreporting, there's really two sides to it. So you have, again, this comes from our lecturer Martin McDonald from Mac Nutrition University. You have knowingly underreporting and you have unknowingly underreporting. So the difference between the two, you have knowingly underreporting, so they know what they're doing. They're choosing not to record food because for whatever reason they're choosing not to record it because it makes them feel bad, or they think that if they're seeing a nutritionist, they think by not recording it, it's not going to show up. Some people believe that if they eat within a certain window of the day after training, they think it's not going to count, which actually was in the Secret Eaters video, where there was two sisters who went to the gym and they fell for the myth of the anabolic window, which is an hour to an hour after weight training. They thought it was you could eat whatever you want. Again, that's just a myth. It's not fact. So they were actually sitting down and eating, I think it was eclairs in the TV show, and that was their excuse. We've been to the gym, we can eat whatever we want, because it doesn't count as calories. Unfortunately, it does. So you've got the knowingly underreporting, and then you have the unknowingly underreporting. So these are people, probably pretty much like the lady in this video, where she wasn't fully aware or didn't fully understand or was educated in the foods that she was eating and how to record it. I think at the time of this video they didn't have the apps that you can now get on smartphones. So she probably, if she had the app, she probably would have been a little bit closer to what she was actually burning. But then again, if she's unknowingly reporting, she probably wouldn't have recorded all the little bits that did mount up. So yeah, that's underreporting. If you think you might be, or a good exercise I would recommend doing would be, like say, 3, 5, 7 days would probably be best, to include your weekends. Just religiously try to record everything you're eating, and then just look back and actually see what you're eating, because the way we do our nutrition programs here, we would prefer to have a true, honest food diary from someone, and then we just take bits out and put bits in to get people to their goal, especially if weight loss is the goal. It's a lot simpler than what everyone else makes it out to be. So like I said, if you have any questions, post them in comments below or send us an email, and we'll get back to you.